So, what about that Sony hacking? Man, Sony, I have a few of your products. In fact, I'm actually shooting on a Sony Handycam right now. And yet, you have the worst security ever, but I digress. So, for those of you who haven't really been keeping up or heard here and there, the Sony hacking, was wow. So it basically involved leaked emails from pretty high up between employees saying some mean things about certain people, such as Angelina Jolie. And you know how powerful that woman is. Anyways, and this just goes to show you, children, be nice to people, even when you're talking between your friends. Or if you are, just make sure you don't send it in an email, or make sure you're not being recorded. Do what I do. I write it on a piece of paper, then throw it into the fireplace. That's what I do. See, they should have done that if they wanted to gossip about people. But I digress once again. So, it turns out the U.S. feds, say that North Korea was behind this as a way to say, hey, if you guys are gonna release that Seth Rogen, James Franco movie, The Interview, we're gonna attack you, 9/11 style. And now The Interview is not going to play in any cinema whatsoever. The big chains have refused to release it after those threats were confirmed. And now people are all over the place about it. So, what do I think about this? So, personally, I really wanted to see The Interview just to see where they would go. I always like political satire, especially if it's done well. And some people, especially on the internet, are saying, you know what, it's a good thing they're not releasing it because it was probably racist, and it probably was offensive to Koreans and all that fun stuff. Yeah, guys, this is North Korea we're talking about, where they have a dictator, and they have very few freedoms. And yes, America has its problems. Numerous problems. But at least we're not starving. Or at least not too many of us are starving. I'm not starving right now. I just ate a McDonald's. I did. America. Anyways. So, yeah, it's North Korea. I mean, what do you expect? And so, they found out about this movie, and they're just pulling a hissy fit. It's like, we're gonna threaten you with nuclear bombs, or... God, wow. And it's like... I'm of the firm belief that if you want to say a film, or a TV show, or any form of media whatsoever is racist, sexist, any of the other isms, however you call it, xenophobic, more homophobic, all that stuff, I feel like you have to watch it and sit through it and think it through first before saying, okay, yes, that was racist. Yes, that was offensive. And even then, would you really like it if, say, 2 years ago when Django Unchained came out, several people were calling it racist, including Spike Lee, and most of these people hadn't seen the movie, or even if they had seen the movie, they were just like, this is racist, they should ban this. Okay, no. First Amendment rule. Yes, there's some offensive stuff out there. And yes, there's some stuff I find offensive. Like, personally, I have a limit with... People are gonna get so mad at me, but I have a limit with rape jokes. I don't like the rape jokes where they make fun of the victim, like the whole Tosh.0 thing. I don't think it's funny. So when I'm at like a open mic night, and some guy or girl, you never know, decides to tell a rape joke or any other gross or just stuff that I personally find offensive, like Holocaust jokes to a certain extent, mostly, yeah. I just don't laugh at them. I'm just like, okay, moving on, let's see. That wasn't very, I personally thought it wasn't funny, but people were just like, people will laugh. I'm not gonna, if you want to stand up to them, fine, good for you, but I think the appropriate thing sometimes, if you find stuff offensive, is just don't laugh. Or just laugh nervously, either, or just leave. That's usually the best case scenario. And even, I've been to, like, open mics where there was one where some kid took it way too far, and everyone in the audience was uncomfortable. Let's just say it involved the N-word. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I am very much of the belief that you should see something before you make a statement like that, and if you are, bring up good points. I mean, you saw this much earlier this year with the woman who started the hashtag Cancel Colbert, which, by the way, great last show, Colbert, and yeah, I wish you best. Anyways, like, she started Cancel Colbert because of that out-of-context joke, and she got all offended by it, and started that hashtag without realizing, wait, this was part of a bigger joke in response to the Washington Redskins. Yeah, I still am just like, and she was Asian, and some people were defending her, and I'm like, oh, and honestly, I personally thought she was mean, very snappy with the interviewer at Huffington Post, who was like, but you do know, I personally thought he said it in a calm manner, but she decided, no, you can't say anything. So, I personally think we should have, I think that's the other thing, we need to have open discussions and not act like children. That's the important part. I feel like most of the time, especially nowadays with the internet, we sound like children on the playground. Which is funny because you're supposed to grow out of the whole making fun of things, but as clearly, as I said from the beginning, with the emails saying mean stuff about big name people, they clearly don't get out of that mentality. And that's very unfortunate. It's like, really? You're just gonna... Okay. And I think we should have an open and mature discussion where we're not calling each other names, where we're not hacking other people, and giving out their personal information, which is a big thing lately, too, on the internet. I mean, there's doxing going on, like, recently on Tumblr. Clearly, I spent too much time on Tumblr, that's where I see it. Where a woman did pub comics, that was meant to, like, poke fun, and it was clearly obvious. She was talking about the very extreme people who were like, yeah, I find this offensive, and, like, she said some pretty raunchy, racy things, whatever, and people decided to dox her. Now, what doxing is, for those who aren't up to date in it, it's basically, like, hacking, but they'll go even one step further, other than posting, like, personal messages between people. They'll give the person's, like, name, address, phone number, and they're like, okay, people, now you're free to do with whatever you want, and it usually ends up with harassing phone calls, stalkers, death threats, rape threats, threats in general, but yeah, those are the big ones. And when people do it to say, like, people who are held in a high pedestal with controversial moment, like, say, Ania Sarkeesian, of course they're quick to defend her because, one, she does have the right to say what she feels, even if, well, I can't really say much for video game reviews, but her other reviews where I may not agree with it, and I think she's reading too into it, but she has that right to say what she wants without being harassed. Seriously, guys, just stop harassing her. You're wasting your time. Just leave her alone. Go move on to other things. I think that's the big point. We just need to move on from making threats to people whose opinion, however wrong or right it may be. Where was I? We need to stop, like, harassing people if we disagree with their opinion, even if it's right or wrong. Or in the middle, I don't know, because there's a lot of gray area in this. And just move on or have, like, an open discussion. Like, without calling names, without saying, hey, here's this person's phone number and address, go do what you want with them, get them fired from their dream job, or whatever. I think we really need to stop doing that. And that means you too, North Korea. Seriously, just calm down. Although, to be fair, Seth Rogen, James Franco, you should have done what Matt and Trey Parker did with Team America, where they sent a copy to, I forget which Kim Jong it was, to them, where you just send a copy of them for them to watch, so they can, seriously, you haven't even seen, the movie, so it wasn't even out yet, and at least the Team America people were kind enough to send them a DVD. Who knows if they actually watched it, because they didn't really say much about it. But man, wow. I mean, people, you need to calm down sometimes. Just save your moral outrage for, like, actual problems, such as the racism in our world, the sexism where it's more prevalent, like, rape on college campuses and colleges aren't doing anything about it. The whole justice system being screwed up and, frankly, racist. Yeah. I'm gonna stop right there before I say something without thinking it through. But seriously, just save your moral outrage when it's really necessary. I feel like with forms of media, if you don't like or support an idea that piece of media is containing, you just avoid it. Just avoid it. Like, I personally never liked the Twilight Saga or anything. So you know what I did? I never bought the books. I never paid a ticket to see the movie. I never put any money into anything Twilight related. Same goes for 50 Shades of Grey. If it goes against your code, don't pay money. Or if you're curious but you don't want to give too much money, I feel like the right way to do it is, like, recently I saw a movie, which is gonna be on my least favorite list, spoilers, of this year, where don't pay full price for it. And if it's something like, like with people last year with Ender's Game, they want to go see it because they love the book, but they are very against what the author stands for. He's pretty much an outed homophobe. So what they did, or what was suggested from what I heard, is they went to go see it anyway in theaters because they liked the book, and usually afterwards to donate the same amount of the ticket price to a gay organization, or, like, equal rights organization that's credible. Not the Human Rights Campaign, sorry. And that's perfectly fine. I think you live in a country, or countries, because I don't know if anyone watching this probably will be from not America. They're probably not from America. But you have a right. No one's forcing you to go see things. You have free will. Unless, I don't know, if someone's forcing you at gunpoint. I really hope not. Or if your friends are forcing you as a joke, then you need to get new friends. But no one's forcing you. No one's forcing you to see it. No one's forcing you to read it. No one's forcing you to listen to it. Just don't. And North Korea, seriously, calm down. You don't have to go so far. You need to calm down. And, maybe feed your people. And not kill them and not kidnap and, Maybe just stop being a communist. Just stop being a dictatorship. But that's not going to happen because I am only one American woman, and this is all I can do. Unfortunately. Yeah. So that's my whole spiel on this thing. And I think it went longer than I intended it to be. I'm so sorry. Alright, y'all have a good day. And a Merry Christmas. Or for my Jewish viewers, Happy Hanukkah. Soon Happy Kwanzaa. And may 2015 may be filled with less oversensitive people. Seriously, that should be everyone's New Year's resolution. Think before you say. Or talk. It doesn't... Whatever. I'll be out with another video soon.